If you ever consider joining a franchise organization, you will love my candid conversation with Harry Welby-Cooke.
If you're starting to look at a franchise, you need to ask questions like, am I a fit for it? So if somebody's sitting in front of me, I want them to ask, am I fit? So we can actually debate and discuss that. And I'm always going to bring that up. It must serve them. The business must serve you.
Harry will share with us valuable insights, the benefits, and many of the do's and don'ts of franchise ownership. What do you feel are the top 3 skills that someone needs to be successful in franchising?
The benefit of franchising is that you buy a business for yourself, but not by yourself. So I think first and foremost, probably being a team player, you must want to work within a team. I think you have the independence of your own business, but you still form part of a bigger purpose, a bigger, culture, a bigger group of people. So a team player, definitely one of them. I think the other one is you have to be really committed to your own future. Business is merely a vehicle that serves you, and you must be hungry to chase that future. So if you see franchising and your business as a vehicle to serve you and you dedicated to make that happen, then I think that's probably the second. And I think the third is franchising is a business. Whether you look at it any other way, it's still a business. And with business today, you need resilience. You will have days that are great. You will have days where it's maybe not so great and you fall down. And it's the faster you bounce back that makes the success. So if you're a team player, you're dedicated to your future and seeing this as a vehicle to serve you, and you've got that resilience, I think you'll do really, really well in franchising.
Where did it start and what made you invest in the franchise business?
We've been doing this a long time now. So I had a corporate career in commercial banking, and big portion of that, I used to lend people money. I'd been exposed to a lot of different franchises. I knew where new property developments were going up. And being in banking, we moved around a little bit, and my wife had 2 rules. She said, I don't move all your paperwork and I don't move your wine collection. And that was obviously the biggest, bulkiest, heaviest things to move around. And I got to the point where corporate was no longer the right fit for me. One of the main reasons for that was you get into a career and you build a career based on passion, hard work, challenging the boundaries, that kind of thing. But you get promoted to a point in corporate where, no, that maverick kind of style no longer really fits. You must just take orders and pass them down. And that didn't suit me. And I got to the point where I wanted something else. I think like a lot of people, when you don't find the right thing, you leave and you become a corporate refugee. That's what I call myself. And you print a business card and you start a consulting business of some form. And that's exactly what I did, because I went through this process of seeing a lot of hardworking, passionate people never get the business plan to work out according to the theory when we lent them money. And I used to sleep very nicely at night, knowing full well that the poor entrepreneur, the poor business owner was awake, struggling to do that. And I thought, but there's a better way. So initially I went into management consulting kind of focus, where every business has got information available. And if you could use that information to make better decisions instead of gut instinct and thumb suck and react, you'd have a more successful business. And I did that initially, but it still wasn't the right fit. And what I found is you can tell people what to do. That doesn't mean that they do it. And I'd researched coaching as an add-on initially. That was my thinking. This is going back now to 2006, 2007. And yes, you had Fortune 500 blue chip companies at executive level were being coached. Life coaching was kind of starting to emerge. But the focus that I was in, that entrepreneurial business owner kind of space, there wasn't really anything that I could find. And literally, I stumbled, and I say stumbled because I'd looked at that same page for many, many years. I opened the National Sunday Times newspaper, and on the inside front page of the Business Times section, there was an advert that said, are you passionate about business and helping others? And I thought, well, that suits me perfectly. There was a little tagline in there that said master license for South Africa available. And I thought, well, initially this would be a good add-on to the coaching business, to the consulting business. Go in, do the analysis, tell people what they do, and then coach them in how to do it. And, interacted with the head office team, got to speak to Brad, got to speak to the CEO at that stage, and just thought that this was the perfect fit, and not just from an initial marriage between the consulting and the coaching business, but as a full-time business that could really make a material difference to business owners and entrepreneurs. And I think almost 17 years later now, we still do the same thing. We're passionate about business and we're passionate about helping others.
Why do you feel franchising is so popular at this time?
I think two fronts. Franchising in general is a go-to source for business because there is structure, there is a system, there is a brand, there is a proven track record, and you don't have to reinvent the wheel. So you get to buy an off-the-shelf solution that has been tried and tested. And I think, whether it be any franchise out there, that's the benefit of a true franchise. I think the benefit of this franchise is that there's a lot of really good, experienced, educated individuals who want to do something for themselves and default into, buying a burger franchise or an elderly care franchise or something that's not really aligned to their experience levels and their passions, but they couldn't find something else. And I think that this really was a blend of that to say, I don't have to flip burgers. I can use my experience. I can use my education. I can use my passion, and I can make a business of helping other people. And the ActionCOACH franchise allowed the off-the-shelf recipe, but specifically in the professional services space, which was really attraction for me.
Let's just say I wanted to invest in a franchise. What do you think I should be asking a franchisor? What questions should I be asking prior to taking the step and join ActionCOACH?
First thing is I need to ask yourself a lot of questions around your motivation and your future plans, and do some of that introspection. I think is a good way to start. But a good franchise should help you through that anyway. If you're starting to look at a franchise, I think you need to ask questions like, am I a fit for it? So if somebody's sitting in front of me, I want them to ask, am I fit? So we can actually debate and discuss that. And I'm always going to bring that up. It must serve them. A business must serve you. So you must ask questions around that. And is there alignment between the franchise that you're looking at getting into and the plan that you have for yourself and for your family and for your future? I think that's critical. Then one needs to look at saying, well, is this a true franchise? Because there are good, bad, and ugly versions of it out there. So what is the history? And not just the history in the amount of years operating, but what different markets have they operated in? Are they operating in similar markets to the market I'm choosing to operate in? Do they have the systems and the tools and the support that they supposedly propose? And I remember a friend of mine saying at one stage, they were looking at a franchise and they said, they found the perfect franchise and there was no royalties. And I said, had they promised to give you support and ongoing innovations and things like that? And he said, yes, absolutely. I said, no, that's not a franchise. That's a pyramid scheme. Because as long as they're selling to new people, they can fund all the promises. A franchise needs to have upfront costs to pay for the recipe that's proven.
I hope you have gained some valuable insights into the world of franchising. Please make sure to like and subscribe and share with your network. Also, click the link below to learn more about franchising with ActionCOACH.